the steps that I have to take. The first step, you watch this video and you watch the other videos that we created. I think we created many of those videos aiming to help you with learning programming. And then after, when you watch the video, you need to write note. So when we say a command or explain something, just write it down. And then video finished, go back to the video again and watch it one more, and then perform the code in that video. So do the same thing in the video. I will be posting the link to the case study, so you will find it later when the video is ready. You will find it in the comments section. You go there, you'll find the code is live, so you can play with it. It's already running, you get access to data, so you can test it yourself. And then rewrite it again yourself. Then start changing it a little bit. Make small changes. This way you can start learning programming. So I consider that questions answered. So back to our case study. So today we'll do another case study, which aiming again to help you see the full pictures. And going back to the observation learning, when we were kids, we were observing people walking. When we saw the people walking and the benefit they get from walking by accessing more fun, getting food, playing, whatever, we started to be motivated to walk, and we started making the steps. The steps at the beginning were very hard. You need to stand at least. Standing was the first challenge. Then balancing and sustaining that stand, and then moving and walking. This is the same thing. So here, if you see hopefully a full picture of a solution, will give you the motivation, and you can see from the beginning to the end, these are the steps I'm going in. And then in the classroom with your faculty who are trained and experienced and ready to support you, you will go through the steps to get into that level. But you will not learn unless you make the steps. You start yourself taking some actions. Otherwise, you will stay in your place. And this is the way we learn in our life, is by practicing what we need to do. So here the case study has objective. It's about a supermarket. They have, I think, around 10,000 records. We'll look at it, we'll see that record. So what we want to look at, this supermarket, they wanted to find what are the products that generating a profit. What are the products that causing them to lose money? And then who are the customers contributing? What are the months that they get more? What are the cities that has more sales and from that type of product? And all those different things which you would expect. This is a business case study. We had one case study last time, more academic, looking at program, learning outcomes, course learning outcomes, mapping and finding evidence and things like that. And today we are looking at a business case study. Later we'll look at health science, hospitals and patients and record and disease and things like that. And later maybe look engineering, applied media, education. So the applications of data analytics is wide. And as we said before, it's very important skills that you need to learn. Sometimes maybe when you start anything in life, it's hard. You remember when you started learning driving? It was very challenging and scary. And now you drive and you are fine with no issue with that because you practiced. Back to the practice. So what method we will be using? We will access the files using the tool we have. We're using Pandas. Then we will look at display the column names. You'll find this table is too big and there are so many columns. Looking at it on the screen is difficult. How we can extract just only the columns names. So we know these are the column names, so we can refer to them later. I want, for example, to sort by product ID. What is the name of that column? So I have them in one list. So we'll do that. We will group sales by product ID. We can group it by anything. and then calculate the sum. So that easily gives us the total sales of X product and total profit generated from that product by just grouping them together. Then we'll be using some sorting to find the highest profit and things like that. We'll look at the 10 top products that giving us income or profit, and the others that causing us to lose money or causing that supermarket. Then we will do some plotting or charting. So we'll do just basic chart with the bar chart. Later we will learn about different type of chart and why we need to use this one or use that one. But this will illustrate you how to create the chart. If you know how to plot a bar chart, you will be able to find how to plot the other charts. The command is very similar. So in terms of skills, what skills you will gain from this case study today? There are 10 skills you will gain from this case study. Now each one needs practice. You need to practice it. The first one is importing pandas. That simple thing, we have done it when we used Turtle that time, and we done it last time. Reading Excel file using pandas, displaying the head and tail, displaying the names of all columns, grouping data, calculating sum, slicing data, selecting only certain type of certain data from the big data that we need for our analysis, sorting and plotting in terms of a bar chart and histogram. These are the skills that you will gain in this exercise. So how we start? We start again. I always start from the beginning because I'm hoping that more people joining us from time to time, so they want to know where to start. And the first start, which you need to do, is you log in to Pandas, to Jupyter. So you go to any browser and write Azure Notebook. Once you do that, you get it coming on the screen. I think will be first one or maximum second one. So it's the first one. So that Azure Notebook, this is from Microsoft, and as we said, Microsoft is a strong supporter of Python, and not only Microsoft, all big organizations do that. So Microsoft, they built a platform where you can program on the cloud without the need to install anything. So if you get there and you log in, I'm already logged in, but if you're not logged in, you click here and then you will select an account. If you don't have an account, use HCT username and password. You will get there because this is connected to our single sign-on account, but you can use any other account you would like to use. So you create your account. Once you log in, you will get a library that looks like this. Let me go back here. So you get something like that. The first thing is library. Libraries are folders where you store your files. Basically, you create a folder for your files. And in my case, if I go libraries, I already have a folder called case studies, and I decided to put all the case studies there, and I will send you the link so you can access it and you play with it. When you get a link from someone, like the link I'm going to send you, you will be able to display it on the screen, but you will not be able to change it unless you clone it. There's something called here clone. When you clone something, it creates a copy for you, and you can now change it without any issue. The original one which I shared with you will not change unless I change it, but the new copy is yours and you can do whatever you want to do with that copy. So we already have now, once you are in the library, you want to create a new one, you click on new, and then you write the Python application name you want. But you need to remember to select 3.6. All the examples we're using in this course, the Note, Unit 2, which you have access to it, the PowerPoint, everything written on 3.6. So easier for you to follow version 3.6. If you follow other versions, there are small changes, but it could make it difficult for you to do that. So I'm not going to create because I already have my file open here already. If you look at my folder, I have a file here called superstore.xlsx. This is the one I need to access now and start working with. So I'll go back here and say import pandas. Again, spelling has to be the same as we have here as PD. Now, as I said last time, you can call it as PD, as X, as Y, as anything. But easier to use PD because if you look in the documentations and all the examples we were sharing, the community of programmers, you will find them all using PD in their examples. So better and easy for you to follow what the rest are following. Then the next one, this is the line. Each cell you have to execute it on its own. This is the difference between Jupyter Notebook and other platform. In data analytics, you cannot run the whole program every time you want to do analysis. So they divided that into cells. You run the cell once and then you don't need to run it again unless you change it. So now we did this one, we have to run it. You click run or control enter. I use control enter, it's easier for me to do. So now this is executed and I can see there is number 1 here, means it was executed once. If I go and execute it again, that number will change too. Yeah, it's just indication for me how many times it has been executed. So now my new variable that I create called data, this variable I will use to store the data frame. Pandas read data in a format of a table where there are columns, rows, and we call it data frame. So I can use again any variable here, call it data, call it X, call it anything, but I'm going to use data. And then I need to use my object PD dot now the function that read Excel, and it is read underscore Excel. Again, Python is a case sensitive, so you use the exact case. The file name is superstore.xlsx. It's Excel file. Now I have to run this line. Now it's running because it's large. It's taking some time to load it. Still that star is there, so it's loading the whole file into the memory. Now I want to see the top 5 rows in my data. So I can see data head. Yeah, head will give me the top 5 rows. So if I click enter, now comes the fun. We can see these are the top 5 rows, yeah, in my data, and there are 21 columns. So the columns are these here, as you know, and the rows are the rows. Yeah, so these columns are too big. I don't know how I can see all of them. They are not there. In fact, Pandas, what it does, it gives you around 10 and then dot 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 and then give you the last 10. So in the middle you don't see it. So I need to find out what are those columns, what are the names of those columns. So now I have an exercise for you. I want to see your interaction and your are you following me or you just watching me? I'm watching another movie while you're watching me. So this is a question for you, and see if you are ready. You get your phone or your browser. By the way, I noticed that most of you are watching me on phone, on mobile phone, but the videos that we have, the short videos, most of people watching it on computer. I don't know what that means, but anyway, go to menti.com and enter those numbers 80 65 06, and now try to answer that question. Where did I put my screen? Oh my god, I did something strange. Okay, here it is. So now try to answer this one by adding what is the line of code that you need to write to read to find the columns names. If you don't know, just try to make your guess in a logical way. That will help you later understand how the command works. So I want to know those columns I was looking at. I know it takes you time to connect your computer, and if you're using the phone and watching me at the same time, it becomes challenging to switch between the two. But basically I want to know those names here, columns names. What are those column names and how I can find the column names? I see no answers yet. Takes you some time to do that, maybe. I want to see at least one of you try. Then I will show you how it works. There is also delay between me and you in the streaming, I think. So that's maybe why you don't see it. Okay, so I assume you are trying, so I will continue while you are trying. But I want to see some reactions and some answers for these questions. But those who are using mobile, I understand you have an issue switching between mobile and coming back to this presentation. But if you have two phones, or most of you have two phones, you can use one phone to answer the questions and one phone to watch me if you want, or watch the presentation. Let's go back. So it's really simple thing to do. You have your data and then you use the property called columns. And this basically what it will do, it will display for you all the column names. And if I run it now, you can see these are the column names. So instead of going to remember them, now I have them with me there, so I can start looking at them and see anytime I want to do anything. So this step I need it only because the columns are too large and I was not able to see all the columns. So I decided to go by showing them on the screen so I can find out what's happening. Very good. I can see some people trying. Okay, you've seen the answers, yeah? Okay, here, now let's try to find what are the top 10 products that generate the highest profit. So how we can do that? One, there are so many techniques you can use. The easiest one, which shows the power of Pandas and how strong Python and Pandas are, is using group by. So if I create a new data, I'll call it data 1, yeah? And then here in data 1, what I will do, I will group my original data using product ID. So my original data is data, isn't it? Then I use the command group by, which will group the data, and I decide now here which column I'm going to use to group. So I'm using product ID. Now if I group it by product ID, what I'm going to do with that group? What I need, when you group, you can select one of the following. You can group items by and calculate the sum. You can group items and find the mean or average. You can group items and find the minimum or maximum. So all these things which we used last time in describe, if you remember describe, then we can use it. So we'll use sum here, and then we did that one and hit enter. Now data 1 is created. It's a new data set. It's the same one we have before, but now this new data 1 is grouped using product ID and use the sum. So if I say data 1 dot head, let's try this. Let's look just only at the head, not the whole data. See what we will see now? If you look at our previous data, our previous data was something different, yeah? This is our previous data. Now the new data being grouped by product ID. So the total of this product, all the total of profit been added together and came with this amount. This product, the first one, is causing problem. They are losing money because of selling that product. But that's one of the things they need to find out. Yeah. So this is the total. Now the other things like adding, when you use sum, it adds everything, including the row ID, which you don't want to add the row ID, so you can ignore that one. It adds also the sales for you, postcode. You should not do that, but it's adding it. So the sales, so you have sales, quantity, discount, this numerical field being added as a sum. Only numerical field for sure, because the data set which we have, or data frame, has many things. It has some numbers and others. Also it has numbers. The numbers, when you use sum, those numbers will be added. Now if we want to display only, we don't want to display all this data, we want to see only the profit of that data. So we're not looking for all the data. I need a column to show me the product ID and profit. I don't want all the details I have here. So how I can do that? Now again, I can say data 1 and then select using something here called look. Look is an interesting one, which I should have added that one in my list. Look is used for slicing data, and we did it last time. So you have a large data here. In our case, if you want to know how many records in this one, do you remember what we used last time? We used len. Len will give us the length of our data set, and if you look at the data set is 9,994 lines. Yeah. Now if I want to slice it, take only the top 10 or the 50 in the middle or things like that, there's so many ways to do it, but one of it is using look, and look is very powerful. So let's use look now. Where I started using look, I didn't start. Yeah, good, I didn't start. So I'll start here, and let me now do this. Say data 1, which our original data. Now by the way, if you have a data called data, you can create a new data of that data by applying other conditions. Yeah. So what I'm doing here, I'm going to create new data from data 1. Python is very flexible. You can change your data type easily, as you have seen in the previous thing. So I'm going to use look here, and look has two things. Let me show you what look has, and then I'll explain it. Look has two things. One is the rows that you're going to talk about it. Do you want row 50, for example, to row 60? Okay, these are the rows that you're looking for. So this will display. If I do just only this, it will display for me, or it's not going to display because I'm not really displaying anything. I'm storing it in a variable. But leave that one. So the first one is the rows that you're looking for. Basically, I want all the rows that I have. The second one is the columns you need to deal with. And the columns, you need to put them between these brackets, because remember I said one simple thing to follow is anytime you deal with a column, use square bracket. Anytime you deal with a column, use square bracket. So square bracket is used for columns. So now I want only the profit. Yeah, so I put the profit here. So basically what I'm saying here, give me all my rows, don't specify anything, but I need only the column, I need only profit. Now if I need another column, I can add comma here and add here. For example, I'll say sales, for example, if I have it there. But we know in data one there is no sales. There is there sales? Yeah, there is sales. Yeah. So this one will give me all rows and only these two columns. Yeah, and that will display for me. It will do something for me. Yeah. Now I want to display it. I say data dot head, and then it will display it for me. So you look at this one, has only row ID, profit, and sales. Why? Because I said to log, give me all rows that are there, and give me from columns, profit, and sales. Now again, columns need to be between square bracket and should have a quotation, and either single quotation or double quotation, doesn't make difference, but you cannot mix them in the same place, and there's a comma in between. So now this is where we have our data. Yeah, now we don't want to display head now because we already know what is the head. We want to sort it now to find the highest the highest profit that the company made from which product that happened. So I can come with a new data, call it data 2, for example, okay? And go back to my data 1, which I have, and then now I need to sort data. How I can sort data? I have another question for you. Just I need one line of code. I think this one you already done. Yeah. Now assume I want to sort my data here. I want to sort data. What is the command that I should use? Just the command or the function. Try to think about it. It is simple. It is sort underscore values. Now there are few things in Pandas use underscore. Sort underscore, set index underscore, read Excel underscore, it has read CSV has underscore, read HTML has underscore. Yeah, so sort values, set index, reset index, reading, all those reading different things you have. So what are we going to sort it by? We need to decide the column that we want to sort by. Column, square bracket. As soon as you mention a column, you need a square bracket. So we will sort it by profit. Okay, again you have to have the right spelling. See, profit with P uppercase. If I use lowercase, I'll get an error. You have to stay exactly as it is. Okay. Now, when you sort anything, there's one thing you need to think about it. Is it ascending or descending? Yeah? There is only ascending here, but either ascending true or ascending false. In this case, we want to sort the highest number first. So it is descending. In other words, it is ascending equal false. Yeah? So that's it. Now we do that. It's sorted. So if we say data 2 dot head, by the way, head gives you the top 5, yeah? But if you want to make it 10, it will follow whatever you want. It will give you now the top 10. These are the top 10 products that are generating profit. And for sure, this company or supermarket, we will keep those products, yeah? But there are other products that causing them to lose money. Let's look at the tail, yeah? So data 2.tail, this will give you the other side of the story, yeah? Yeah, You look at the profit, yeah? Don't look at the sales. They selling positive, but they losing money. Here's the issue. The issue is with the profit. So they're not making enough profit. They're losing money. It's all minus. And those top 10, let's say top 10. Yeah. So they're all losing money on it. Yeah. So let's now do one thing. Let's plot it. Let's see how this one looks on a chart. Yeah. And then we will look at it. Again, plotting is very simple in Pandas, especially the latest version. The previous version, you need to import another library, matplotlib they call it. So you have to import it. Here you do not need to import it. You can just use your data frame that you want to do, data 2, and then you decide which column you want to plot. We'll say profit. Okay, and then you decide which data you want set of that profit. So you say head 10 will take the top 10. So we decided now the column that we want to plot. We know the other x, the x is the product ID. We're talking about y now. Y is want to have the profit, and then want the top 10, and then we need to plot. So you say plot function, and plot require some variables. One called kind equal bar. If you do this, it will give you a bar chart of that. Yeah. Now it will come. Yeah, okay, taking some time. Okay, I'm running on the cloud, and the cloud has its own thing, so it takes a little bit more time to come. So it's coming there, and you can see here, this is the one like the highest profit coming from this product, and this one is the next and going down. Now if we plot and add a new one and just repeat the same thing and plot the tail now, not the head, tail, then you can see where is the issue. Now for you, I want you to find out anything less than 0. So how you can find what are the products that are losing money, yeah, although what are the products that break even, okay, and then you can look at analysis. Now you have the idea, you should be able to do it. Just maybe show you one example, and then you will be able to do it. Now you remember the questions part where you can ask your questions, the other menti.com that you can use, which here. Now the other things I was thinking, maybe give you like a WhatsApp account. You can ask questions through WhatsApp if you want, yeah, or using something similar to WhatsApp, so we can maybe improve the interaction. Yes, the commands, if you look at the commands are not of Jupyter first, they are of Python, Pandas. If you look at the teaching material that we gave you, in the last page of Unit 2, there is a list of all commands with examples saying how to do this and do that. It's in the last page of Unit 2 content. And you have it on BBLearn. You can go to BBLearn, any of the Unit 2 sections. You will find a link to a PDF file, has all the command and all the details. In fact, this is Unit 2 of the book that we are writing. Okay, so clear now? Let's look at the customers. It's a practice now. Same story we have done with the product. now became just repeated. We're not going to do something special, yeah. So let's say something here, a new data. We'll call it data customer. Let's change now, yeah. Data customer, and we need to group data. The original data, still our original data is there, yeah. We created data 1, data 2, but still our data is there. We did not delete it, yeah. So we can go back to it and say group by, and then we group by customer ID, yeah. Customer ID. Now you need to remember the name of that customer ID. It's one of those, yeah, we are here. So this customer ID, if you can use customer name if you want, or use any of those things here, and you can group by that item. So we are here looking at customer ID, okay. And what we're doing also the sum, okay. So now our data customer, if you want to look at it, and always good after you do any operation, you run the head, yeah. So you can see how that data looks like. You can see if there are issues with this data you created or your command. So that's very important. And Pandas is good, and Jupyter is also good in terms of those cells you have. You can run each cell on its own. You add a new cell if you want from here, and you do other things. Now I'll show you some of the things that you will make a mistake in later. I'll go back and show you some examples of some of the mistakes that people make. That's fine. Those mistakes, you have to make them because you will learn from those mistakes. So this is running only the head, just to get an idea of what we have there. After we do that, we need to sort the data. So we can say data customer 2, for example, equal. Now you can sort data without doing this. Show you what I can do. If I say data customer, just only data customer itself, and now I want to sort it, I can sort it without storing it in a third one. So sort values, and then we will sort it by what? Here we will sort it by the profit, yeah. So we'll have square profit here, say profit, yeah. And if you do this, you will get the data now sorted by the profit, but sorted not really descending. So I add here ascending equal false, and see false, the F is uppercase, yeah. Now data sorted, isn't it? Sorted, yeah. But if I come down here somewhere, yeah, and I'm making this just on purpose to show you what could happen. I come back here and data customer dot head, okay, and look at the data. You will notice the data is not sorted. I sorted it up, but didn't affect the original data. So how you can do that? You have these two options. One is what we used to do, create a data 3, say data customer 3 equal, that's one. But the other one, you can add here something called in place, and we did this last time, equal true. So this one, what it does, it changed the original data which we have, and this way you run this, you go anywhere, you will find the data has been sorted, because it changed the original data. We're not changing data, changing data customer, which now our original data. So now we can refer to data customer. So you have these two options. Either you create a new data set of the previous data, or you use in place. Now why should I use in place or create a new data set? Now if you're worried about your memory or your computer memory, It's better that you use in place and change the original data. But if you do not want to touch the original data, you want to keep it as it is, and it's critical for you to keep it as it is because you will use it later for different purpose, so you should not use in place and create a new data set. Computer memory nowadays is not a big issue that you worried about it. In the past, we were very careful about how much we utilize computer memory, but still now there is an issue there, but it's not that huge issue as used to be before, because you used to deal with megabyte, and now we're dealing with something bigger than that. Okay, now we have this. Now we want to plot our data. So let's do just plotting our data. So our data customer, isn't it? And then which one we need to plot is the profit. We want to do the head, and we want to do 10, and we want to plot as or kind bar chart. Now these charts will come to unit 3, where we talk about visualization. We'll spend more time talking about those different charts. Yeah. See, after you execute plot once, every time now you run it, it becomes fast because it's already imported the library. It has everything there. But first time you run your plotting, it takes time for the plotting to appear on the screen. And now we can see those items. Now, if you want to do the tail, you are now expert in this, so you can do that. Yeah. So you go there and do just tail, and you have your plot. And now they know what are those products that causing them problems, and they can start looking at them. As I said, I expect you to do some more exercises on your own. For example, finding what are the products that give break even. Yeah, and I'll just show you an example. I'm not sure if I should show you that or not, but you can find it. But remember last time when we said if you want to do some conditions, yeah? Will you be able to answer these questions here, maybe? Oh, that's different thing, which later I'll ask you to do. Yeah. Okay. So now, if I want to find products that do break even, what I need to do? I'll just give an example, quick example, and then if we go to our data one, for example, data one that has the products thing, and now you need to say from data one, I need you to select based on a condition. Now, how we select a column in Pandas? This is the way. So I want here, for example, profit only. I need only the column profit. This is the way I do it. Data one, between brackets, it gives me all the profits, isn't it? That's how the way I do it. Now, if I want to say, no, I don't want only profit, I need a condition. I need something specific. So not only the profit column. I need to find that profit that equal zero, where the profit is equal zero. Where the profit is equal zero. So I have a condition here. Data one condition. So what is that condition? How I write the condition? The question here is how to write the condition. The condition is the profit equals zero, yeah? So how you say the profit? The profit you say by saying data profit, yeah? That's the profit. This one means the column profit, data and column profit. If I add here equal zero, now I get those products that have that value, yeah? Data one, sorry. Data one. See, there are two products here that are break even. They do not cause any loss or don't give any profit. They are zero, the profit out of those two products. Now I leave it to you. Find those with less than zero. Yeah, okay, that's one thing. The other thing I want you to find, not only those, I need to find from those all columns, which I'm going up to look at them now, these columns here. I want to find out which city having the highest sales and contributing the highest profit. Which state? What are the products that people buy more in a particular state? Okay, and things like that. You just start looking at it yourself. Look at the quantity, how much, not only the money if you want to look at. Okay, and look at the maximum discount being given on a product, or what the total of discount. Look at all this data, and later we will have a way to link some of things like postcode to Google Maps and finding locations of areas that I'm plotted on the screen, and you can see, oh, this area is the one that's doing more, and that will come later when we develop into this course. Okay, so these are the things we went through today. So do you have any questions? Let me see first your satisfaction. If you want to go to your menti.com and add that satisfaction. Looking at YouTube, I don't see any questions on YouTube. So no questions, no satisfaction, no information about satisfaction. I can see some likes there, some thumbs up. Thank you for that. I think we have done a nice case study, which I hope you find it useful for today. And if you have questions, I'll just wait for a few minutes to see your questions, and then we'll continue. Then we'll conclude. I'll be adding the link to this one. There is a one complete already there that I can share with you, which good thing with the Jupyter Notebook, it allows you to create your whole report. Yeah, so not only the code, you can put analysis, you put text, you put images, you put presentations, so many things. So your file, the notebook, this is why they call it notebook, and you can see how I did organize it by adding information about the objective, and I wrote some details down. Now on the skills side, what are the skills we learn again? Let's go back. These are the skills. So there are 10 skills we learned today. Importing Pandas, that's simple one. Reading Excel file, and you remember we had different things in reading Excel. Today we did the basic one, just reading Excel file directly. But we have two more things. One, how to select a specific sheet, and the other one, how to remove any extra rows at the top of our sheet using skip rows. That we didn't do today, yeah, but we have done it before. The next one is looking at the head and tail, and by default the head gives you the top 5, the tail gives you the last 5, but you can put a number in between and you get whatever you want to get. And then displaying the names of all columns, we have done that one. We look why we need it, because the number of columns is too large, so we were not able to see it on the screen. And then we used display, we did the column by saying the data.columns. And if you noticed, columns has no brackets at the end, because it is a property, not a function. Okay, this it doesn't have those brackets at the end. We grouped data using group by, and group by needs from you to pass a column or columns. You can add more than one column, and then you decide what calculation you want to perform on your group. And in our case, we took the sum of the data that we grouped together. So when you grouped all the products, each product has hundred of or thousand of records. All these records are added together and created a sum for that column. Then after that, we calculated the sum. That's what we did. We did slice some data when we decided, say, we want to take only certain columns in our data. We did sort the data frame using sort underscore values, and we passed to that one of the columns. And anytime we deal with a column, we have a square bracket. I repeat that one. And then we also, one thing we did, I didn't mention it here, is we worked with the two things. I didn't mention it here. One is ascending. If you want to be descending, you say ascending equal false. By default, it's ascending. So you don't need to do anything if you want ascending. And the other thing which I did not mention here is the in place. If you sort data and you don't want to store it in a new variable, you want to change the original data, so you use in place equal true, and that will change the original. Then we learn how to plot a bar chart, and if you want to look at how to plot a histogram, we will just do it right now, so you get an idea of the histogram. Now, these things we're all going to discuss later, when we come to that unit. But let's jump to the last thing. So we're dealing with data customer, let's say data customer, and see how I am careful with the case. See, C is uppercase, I stay with C uppercase, so I cannot just use it there uppercase and come here and call it lowercase. So let's plot the profit. We'll do the head, and we'll take 10 or 20. I like the histogram, so I am going to give it more. Then plot, and then you can say kind again, and kind is the one that you use to change things, and histogram you say hist. Okay, you can change the color and other things which we can look at it later when we come to that. So I'm just running that, and see it's coming now like histogram. Histogram usually put the data in a range, and then look how many data occurred at the same time at that range. We'll look at that later, and we will see what we can do. By the way, you can plot everything you have. For example, data 1 dot head, and take 10 and say plot and kind equal bar. Let's see this one, what it will produce. Now, because you plotted everything, so it's plotting the profit and the sales, because data 1, if you remember, data 1 has these two, it's up there somewhere. Here is it. So it has profit and sales. And now this diagram, which has two colors and two bars, is showing me both profit and sales. And this is where it's looking at. So you can look at that as well. I think we should do data 2, because data 2 is the sorted one, not data 1. This is why it was looking. So this product, the sales is huge, profit is around 40%, which great profit, I think, the making of this. And you can see, you compare the sales to the profit, and you can get an idea how much percentage of profit they're creating. I think they seem to be doing well here. And that because we did 10, we'll do 20, you will get a bigger chart. Yeah. Now, I'm not seeing questions. Oh, there is question. Thank you very much. Very nice, tangible case study. Students and especially business student will like it. Thank you. Oh, I'm very happy, especially for the business student. I want them to be very excited about programming because CIS engineering, I think they are already excited. Yeah, but we'll make them more excited by looking at case studies related to engineering business, and we'll look into that when we come. Next time we'll find something for the health science and also the media student and education. They are all important to us because you are all our students. I want you to be successful, and this is why we're really spending time on it. If we don't really care, we will not do that, but we'll do it and continue doing it. We have really highly qualified faculty who spend times preparing and thinking of how to make things easy for you and finding techniques and way to engage you. But if you are not going to make the step yourself, then you will not be able to make it. Nobody will just get you the skills. You are the one who will get the skills. We are here to support you with that, and we will continue supporting you because that's our job. We have to do it, and if you are successful, we will feel proud of ourselves. Otherwise, we will not be feeling that. So thank you very much. And seems the other page nobody used it because it's so many it's difficult to move between Menti and Menti. That's fine. No issue with that. So thank you very much. I hope you find it useful. I'll look at the video, remove just only part at the beginning once it's ready on YouTube, and make it available for you. You can go and review it again. I'll add the link to the case study as well, so you can go and play with it yourself and do some testing and experiment and practice. Thank you very much. Yeah, good questions. Could you explain slice and dice? Yeah, the concept of slice and dice is that you divide your big data frame or data set into smaller parts. And I'll give you some examples. Thank you for asking these questions. Now let's look at our data one. Yeah, or data two. Yeah, data two, if you look at it, it's huge. And if we can here look at the length of data 2, see how big it is, very large. Now remember, we used to have data, if you look at only data was 9,998, but when we did data 2, length of data 2 now came down to this number. What does that tells you? This one tells you that you have 1862 unique products in this supermarket. These are the unique products in the supermarket, but these are the sales record of this product, which means around 9 times, yeah, each product being sold during that period of time. On average, something like that, yeah, or maybe a little bit less than that. Now, if I want to slice data, divide it into chunks. If I go back to my data, yeah, look at display data. Again, data is huge, yeah, huge. If I want to see only record from, say, let's use head first, yeah. I want only records from 50 to 60. Yeah? Sorry, I'm doing something. I need to use lock. Yeah? So go to lock. Yeah? Say 50 to 60. Yeah? I just want this one. Yeah? So this one now slice the data for me from row 50 to row 60, and I can store it now in new data, call it data 4 for example. So what I did, I took a slice of the big data and put it on a new data. Now I have a new data 4. It's not the complete data, it's only from row 50 to row 60. Now I can decide also here what are the columns I need to have, and here I can put here and say give me whatever I want to say, for example city, say product ID, then comma, ID I think D capital, then city, and so on, yeah, profit. So I took the big data frame or big data and divided it into small part, took just a slice from that one. Like you have a bread and you divide it into smaller slices and you take only one slice. This is the same idea. So that way I slice my data. The idea, after you slice the data, you can start performing analysis on that small slice because it's a sample of the big data, and you start doing so your analysis in it instead of dealing with the whole data. Once you build the model of that, let's just say you build the model of that, then you can start applying the same model to the rest of the data. Now you cannot slice only a small part and say this will represent everything. You should have a larger sample, and also you need to test that model you build on different slices to make sure it's not causing a problem. So the concept of slice is you divide your large data in smaller parts, and here in this example we took only from 50 to 60. We can decide on other slice that we want to take from the data in the middle and the end, or maybe based on a condition. You can say, as you have seen here, we said we need, I think I did an example, said I need data that only that the profit is 0. So this is another slice, and I can store it in break even. Yeah, I call it break or just even. Yeah, so that now a new data set is a slice of the big data, and that's the idea of slicing data. I hope that explanation was clear. Any other question? No other questions. I can see there are 6 of you there. If you have questions, ask the questions. I will try to answer those questions. Otherwise, I know there is there's a small delay between what I say, what comes on the screen, because I'm watching the live one as well, and I can see my screen take a little bit. Oh, excellent. Thank you. Very happy to know that the slice and dice is clear. Thank you. Any other questions?